Great to have Jay here for the search engine optimization talk about keywords. Jay is the CEO of the Bluestone Group, a group of 7 companies that Jay operates from an incubator and a home office. He's got more than 15 contractors working for him now through the group. Jay also operates the largest online meetup group of 800 members that he operates through the meetup.com, so it's an excellent group for online marketing. So you could probably check that out. The good thing, one of the interesting things about Jay is Jay was the first employee of Orkin when they started in a garage. And
My cousin.
with his cousin.
Yep.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Before they got it, before they sold it off for $28 million.
26.
26
Yeah, but
million
who's
dollars.
quibbling?
Yes. Well, it's tough to remember all the things, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
He's almost the most perfect example of a man.
oh, Tough. Thank you. Wow. That
And
means
I
a lot,
can
mate.
say
I
with
appreciate it.
absolute certainty, he's by far and away the smartest human being I have known.
Wow. I
At
can't believe you
search
say that.
and
Tough. I
strategy
appreciate it.
for online marketing, probably the smartest human alive. So
Wow.
welcome, Jay Best.
Mate. Only after you. Anyway, all fun and games. Cool. Welcome, guys. I am going to talk about search engine optimization. So we can do this one of 2 ways. I can get really geeky and I can get into a lot of technical detail, or we can keep it a little bit higher level. So what we'll do is if I get too geeky, say slow down, you can shout it out randomly, and if I'm getting, yeah, nice, excellent, and if I'm getting, you're not allowed to speak. And if I'm getting not technical enough, saying on slow down is too technical, and speed up if it's getting too geeky, if that makes sense. I don't know which way round it is, but we'll work it out. So cool. This is the overview of my speech today. So I'm primarily going to talk about search engine optimization. So just a show of hands, who knows what that is? Awesome. Cool. So that's going to make things a lot easier. So I'll talk a little bit about my rules for business, and I'll talk about keywords and why they matter. Then we'll talk about the impacts of social media. This is a social media conference, so I want to make sure that I highlight how social media actually impacts your ranking on SEO. For anyone who doesn't pick up, if I say SEO, I mean search engine optimization, and if I say search engine optimization, I mean SEO. It's the same thing. And then the last thing is how to use social keywords. So all good? Cool. So I used to work for, that's got a laser, yeah. Cool. I used to work for telecom. I had a team of, before they worked for EDS, but team of about 60, getting up in the middle of the night for Americans to help them with their technical problems. And then I did the same for telecom. So if, all of wholesale, if your internet or your phone or your fibre or whatever it was, phone, anything that went through telecom died, then it would come through my team. I had a team of about 40. And it was after the Christchurch earthquake, and I just thought, if I died, it would have just sucked. Like, I would not have been happy with my life as it currently was. So I quit my job, and I thought, it was really funny afterwards. I had one of my staff came up to me, and I gave him my new business card. He said, "Oh, Jay, how did you become a CEO? That's amazing." I was like, "Oh, cheers, man. It's really, really easy." So first of all, you quit your job, and then the second thing you do is you get a business card made up with the word CEO next to your name, and it's as simple as that. So then all the other stuff kind of happens afterwards. What was it? An entrepreneurial seizure. Yeah. I had an epic one. It was really cool. So in my frenzy, after my first 6 months, I was like, "Oh, I can do this, I can do that." So I created 6 different businesses to start with, because I thought I'd take it a bit slow, and then and in retrospect, it's a bit dumb to create 6 businesses simultaneously. I kind of try and focus on just 2 to 3 at the moment, which makes things a hell of a lot more fun. So I kind of wanted to come up with my rules for business. So first rule is I don't know if anyone knows this, but Hugh Hefner actually set a goal on his 20th birthday or something like that. He said he wanted to work in his pajamas and wanted to be surrounded by wonderful women. And I thought, just a concept that Hugh Hefner did that on purpose as a goal, I thought that's kind of interesting. So one of my rules is I just work in my pajamas. I kept it simple. So this is my home office. I'm not sure if you can see. I'm a bit odd. This here is a Nerf gun. That's for shooting, just in case someone comes in with a Nerf gun to attack me. I'm ready. So, which is pretty weird considering this is my home office. I work in on my own. I don't know if you guys, did anyone see me on the telly? Yeah, cool. That there is a EEG machine. So as I'm working on selling, I'll be watching my brainwaves as I work. As I do an SEO audit, I'll do the same thing. But it's just, my whole life has been about just whatever the hell I feel like doing. If you look, I'm not sure if you can see very carefully, this is where I organise my day. That's my diary. That's my keyboard. This is Yellow Pages. I use those for propping up my monitor. This here is the back of my business card, and I'm not kidding. I use this in case I forget the name of my businesses. That's my goal board, and then just not to scare anyone, but that's my inbox. Just kidding, it's not really. Cool. I'll keep going. Alrighty. So this is me. Just to be clear, I don't plank still, but when it did used to be cool, there was a bunch of entrepreneurs. So we used to go out. So one of the things that I love about this picture is that guy there was in the Australia's richest 200. So millionaire, and it was really cool because we'd go out and just do stupid stuff together, which I think is kind of cool. So my rules for business: it's got to be able to scale quickly. I've got to be able to deal with 2 to 10 times growth of any of my business units within a year. I had one situation in May. Oops, sorry. Can't miss the picture of me planking. In May, where we did about 6 months worth of business in 1 month, and as Althoff can attest, it was during that time, and I became a little less responsive than I normally do. So, I plan to scale, but I wasn't quite expecting it that much. I do low touch, so I'm looking for a really good staff to profit ratio, and in an ideal world, each of the businesses, once they're built, it'll be about 4 hours. I don't know if you guys have read the 4-hour work week. In reality, I'm not awesome at it. So, different businesses will scale massively at different times, so I've got to work, which sucks, but that's what you've got to do. I've got to be able to walk away and stuff doesn't break for 3 to 6 months. I did a contract with Yellow Pages where I built their kind of the first prototype of their SEO audit, and I was away for about 6 months while I did that, and the businesses didn't do too badly without me, which is kind of a bit depressing, really. It's got to be international. I kind of like the fact that with online you can create stuff that can sell internationally, and you don't have to be here physically. So that's the other rule. The exchange rate's really good because we've got a way better dollar, so it's just another way to do it. I did a lot of my early SEO for US and Australian companies, and it's so much easier when I came to New Zealand because we're a lot less advanced with it. So it's kind of good. And I try and make stuff with a high barrier to entry. So how do I create something which is too expensive to recreate or difficult to reverse engineer? So just to be clear, I'm not up myself, and I'm not saying any of this stuff to try and impress or anything like that. I'm just saying because online marketing is cool because it gives a lifestyle. Like, I'm able to work 20 hours a week when I feel like it, and I get to do fun stuff with my friends as I choose to, which I'm kind of happy about. So, any questions? Good. What is SEO? So if you rank highly for certain terms, then you get more customers to your website. Really, really simple. SEO is the art of science of making your site rank well. Google Rank is based on more than 200 factors. So someone asked me a while back, why are you interested in SEO? To me, it's like a complicated 3-dimensional moving puzzle, and you're trying to work out why it is that suddenly you lost 22% of your traffic. And you don't know why, and then you kind of pull it all apart, and then so it's fun, and it's awesome. So, but secretly, it's actually magic and alchemy. That's the big secret to SEO. I kind of thought when I first was thinking about it, the concept of SEO basically was the other catalyst for me quitting my job. If I'm good at SEO, I can walk into a room, I can sit down, think, I can write my thoughts on a piece of paper, build a site in a particular way, take a certain amount of steps, and that means that I will create customers. If I create customers, I can make money. So it just blew my mind when I thought that it's literally alchemy just in my mind, where I can, any one of people's products, I'm able to just put in a particular way and think about it for a bit, and then generate lots of traffic and lots of customers, which just blew me away. Cool. The key. See, visual pun? That's a visual pun. So see, I'll just point out, I'll explain. That's John Key, right? And then so this is my key about the SEO. Okay, just so we know. The key, yeah. So search volume, I like lame puns, so I apologize for that. Search volume is important, and the competition is also important. So a lot of SEO is about game theory. Is it okay if I just mention what we're talking about the mortgage niche? It is the hardest niche from an SEO perspective to win. So the way my brain thinks is, well, I wouldn't start with SEO straight away. I would go for market strategy, write some amazing content, and just go hard on social, because then you can market to your existing friends and friends of friends, and then that's a battle you can win. Reinvest the money into SEO later, or I'd go AdWords or whichever strategy you do. But it's all about soft doors, and you kind of you're after the traffic that has the most. You are looking for the keywords that generate the most amount of traffic, but at the same time that are a soft target. So how hard is it going to be to compete? In really, really simple terms, jump on to, you can write this down as the Google Keyword Planner. You'll need to have a Google login, and then you can just start putting your random keywords in that you currently think you might rank for, and then Google will tell you all the other ones that you couldn't think of. So in Karen's example, mortgages, first home buyer, those sorts of keywords, and then it will come up with all of the other, vendor sales, blah blah blah, all different ideas. From that, you can get the keyword search volume. So I'm just going to quickly check. Cool. Good. Cool. Okay. So, quick question. Does anyone here in the building industry? Cool. Yep. Anyone else? Roofing? Cool. Awesome. So, this is an example of how keywords matter. So, first of all, difference between the word roofing and roofers. Was it roofer? Yeah, roofer, roofers, plural. Cool. So just by show of hands, top of your head, which word do you think would generate the most traffic? Roofing or roofer? So hands up for roofing. Cool. Hands up for roofer. Cool. Roofer has, I think, 8,000 searches a month. I think roofing was 2,000. Cool. So that's kind of cool. There was a roofing business that we had, and this is just one other, just blows my mind that, and I don't know why why I'm so lucky that I managed to have this as a job, and that it's just awesome. Very big roofing company, who will remain nameless, was about to remove a page. Now the page was a little bit clunky. When you looked at it, it wasn't immediately apparent how cleverly it was constructed. It was done by someone before me who did very good SEO. They were going to tidy up the site, and the web designer said, "I'll just delete these fiddly pages." That page, so the staff, I think there was something like 80 staff worked for that business. 60% of their sales were online. If they'd removed that page, they would have removed 80% of their traffic. That one page. And that's just, like, when I actually went in and did the presentation, I love just getting out amongst, real Kiwi businesses. It just warms me up. It just is so much fun. But I looked out from the out across the lunchroom. So they had like an upstairs mezzanine where the manager's office was. Quite, rough sort of industrial area. And then looked out, and there was like 40 staff sitting down there. I was like, all of those guys would have lost their jobs if I hadn't spotted that one thing. And one of the things that I think about is, what if you don't currently have that page? Right, so right now you're going, the business is tight, or sales aren't so awesome, etc., etc. Well, you may not. There might be a page just the same way as that page had been constructed, which you just didn't know about. Another life coach. This was just as. Does anyone know The Secret? Yep, love it. Cool. Well, I do. He was a friend of mine, and I'd been to him for life coaching, I think, twice. And I met him, and I was, how's business? Oh, it's all right. We're getting there. I'm just starting out, all that sort of stuff. And then he said to me, he goes, oh my gosh, this law of attraction is amazing. I was like, oh, really? How so? And he goes, well, just as soon as I started thinking about it, I used to have like five clients a week. Now I have 40 a week. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And in unrelated news, I've been meaning to talk to you about your analytics. Can I go have a look at your Google Analytics? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So jump on. At the time, The Secret was just launching, right? So all these people were interested in the law of attraction and improving themselves. And he'd just written a blog post. There was no site in New Zealand mentioned the word the and the word secret next to each other. So he'd put those two words on, and that was like 90% of his traffic. And all of that was converting to sales. So it's just, I don't know, it's so frustrating because it's like you don't know what you could be missing anyway. All good. Roofing and roofer. Now this is where it gets kind of cool. So roofer versus roofing, and I think I'm getting it muddled around the wrong way, but just in simple terms, I think that the point is, for me, that it doesn't matter if you were using roofing or roofer. I didn't know before I looked using the Google Keyword Planner, and I would never have known. So the second thing to keep it, but the fact that one has 6 times more searches than the other is very interesting information. The next very interesting piece of information, difference between the two, is the conversion is 3 times higher on one of those words to the other. And I think it went the other way. So even though it was a lower search volume, the conversion was 3 times higher. And then again, the competition was hideously weighted differently. So it's probably out of respect for the roofing company. I won't go into the details, but at the same time, just the simple concept that you can be looking at these two words and you're thinking, you could make an assumption, oh, well, I'm a roofing company, I'll write about roofing. I think, from memory, it was roofer is actually people looking to buy a roofer. Roofing was people that want to do it themselves. So for them, again, just that subtle distinction, what are we, 3 letters? And that's, just totally blows it away. So, all good. So that's the first thing, is how many people search. And what tool do we use? Anyone? Bing? Just really interesting. If you are targeting the American market, 30% of all searches are via Bing or a combination of Bing with Yahoo together, because they're the same thing now. Within New Zealand, it's 4.5%, which I kind of round off to a rounding error. So I don't worry about Bing for the New Zealand market. So my question was, what is the tool which can help you estimate how much keywords you have? Everyone should have written this down. Oh, awesome, cool, nice. I just want to check everyone's listening. Cool, the next thing you can do is you can just search. Now there's heaps of really cool tools. I love Market Samurai, so you can write that one down. Very, very cool tool. It's about $100. As a favor, if you're not enjoying your keywords, like if you want me to help, just let me know and I can run it relatively quickly. It's not too much of an effort if you've done your keyword research first. But at a free/simple way of doing it, All you do is you type your keyword, that the keyword Google Keyword Planner you wanted to rank for, and it'll say 10,000 results, as an example. So if we say there's 10,000 searches, and the competition is, say, 100 million, then from that we can actually calculate a thing called KEI, which I think I have in a later slide, but I'll just talk about it very briefly, is the number of searches per month divided by the total amount of competition. Cool? So it's a really rough, other SEOs, myself included, will mock me for using KEI because it's overly simplistic. Moz have I think they've called it moz.com, M-O-Z.com. That's really, really good for training. They've got there's a Moz guide to SEO, and that's 50 pages PDF, the best thing on SEO. Some consulting I did for a business, part of the contract was I needed to train their sales reps, and I said, read that and read the Google guide to SEO, that's the second one, and you'll be not stupid. So that was kind of my end game, was to get just at least a basic level so you're not walking in and sounding like you don't know what you're talking about. Cool. All in title. So all in title is a cool, and you put this into Google search, so all in title : and then your keywords in quotation marks if it's got a space. So how that works is, what you're doing there is, if you did it without the all in title, what you're getting is the total number of pages you have to beat. But if you get all in title, that's the pages for people who understand what SEO is and have placed things in the right places, as well as people who just have dumb luck and just happen to have put the right word in the right place. But it's a fairer estimation of how hard it's going to be. Slow down? Cool. Nice. Cool. I think you're probably right on that. I'll simplify. Yep, cool. So I'll just retranslate that then. In Google, and you use the keyword planner to find out how many searches. Then you use the same keyword to find out how much competition is. If you divide the searches divided by the competition, that gives you a number, and the bigger the number, the easier it is going to win. See, I can translate. Cool. Alrighty, so this is the game. So this is a search. Now, I've used a real-life example of a personal assistant. So this is one of my businesses as a case study. And what I've done is I've searched for the keyword for the word personal assistant. Okay. So everyone knows this part here is the paid ads. So this is not what I deal with. What I deal with is this part here, right? People who are trying to sell you AdWords will say they can generate a lot of traffic, and they're quite right. The difference between it, I love AdWords, and we do AdWords, but what I like for AdWords, and that's this stuff here, is you pay Google when people click. So it might be anywhere from, 20 cents to, in the mortgage industry, I think $25, $30 per click. There are some games that you can do to kind of pull that price down, but at its most simple, you're basically buying place around the search results. Why I love the free part is once I've built it, I own that word. So if I took out personal assistant, until someone cleverer than me or someone with more time on their hands or more money or budget to do on SEO, I will own personal assistant until someone else comes along. Which I kind of like. I love, it's the difference between renting, which you can get traffic in straight away, or buying, where you actually pay off the mortgage. So good SEO should be done slowly. Cool. And I just love this about Google. This is one of my quotes, sorry. And I just said that I love one of my own quotes, which is kind of, I didn't mean it like that. So the smartest people on the planet get selected for Stanford. The smartest of them get hired by Google, and then they try and make the ranking ungameable. Then people like me and my friends try and beat them. And that's like That's why I love the industry I'm in. Anyway, cool. This is a cool graph. So, just from this here, imagine this is the first result. So that's ranking number 1. That's ranking number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we clear on that? Cool. Now, what happens? The percentage of the traffic, if you're in ranking position number 1, is roughly 25 to 35% of all searches for that term. So, if there are, top of my head, 10,000 searches for a term in a given month, that's 250? No, 2,500. Who here is good at maths? 2,500 visitors to your site every single month for free. If you were paying Google for that, it would be $2 per click, say. That's a lot of money you'd be spending. So once you've won that battle, you basically can win it. And it drops down really quickly. So after the first 3, let's say position number 5, you're only getting about 4.8% of the total traffic that you would of the total searches versus 25 to 35. So the difference between 6 and 1 is quite massive. Yeah, all good. Any questions? Cool. What? Oh, try and get to number 1. Definitely, yeah. And just on that, it's a good idea to be number 1 for a broad range of terms. So you may find that being number 6 or 7 for 1,000 terms is more productive and easier to get to as a worthy goal than being number 1 for your vanity word, which might take a little while and a lot of effort. So it's, again, we're looking for soft doors. Cool. Since we're going slower, you're quite right. This is how it all fits together. So if you want the geeky answer to this, go look at, again, Moz. So the search term would be Moz Keyword Ranking 2013, I think it is. And what that does is every year or so, they get about 200 of the very best SEOs. I don't know why I haven't been asked yet. I'm just kidding, I'm not that good. And from all around the world, they fly to Texas and then they spend 3 weeks arguing about all the different things. Everyone brings their data. So let's say you've got 300 customers you're doing SEO for, then everyone puts up a theory and then everyone tests that theory. So it's quite robust and there's lots of vigorous debate, which is kind of cool. Simply put, the links to your site make a big difference. And what I just want to point on is there's a whole lot of stuff that's happening when it comes to ranking your site. And again, if you want to go into the detail, that Moz article will explain it point by point, and then you can kind of mull on that. The big thing is that graph, just to understand that different elements have different weightings and help. So a lot of SEOs that I pick up afterwards, the client says, oh, we've got to update all our meta tags, and like some of the advice is sound. But some of it's spending a lot of time panicking about stuff which is important, but it's only 20% important when you compare it to other things like links to your site, which is more like 80%, 40% is links to your site. So it's all important, but just kind of put it into a scale. This one here, that's about 7%, so 7.28% is social media. So they've added some new things to the way they rank the page, and one of them is that with social media, if you have a lot of followers, if you have a lot of shares, retweets, so the stuff that Mark is doing is just absolutely caning this. And it's also creating this, and I was so excited when I met Mark, because I'm coming at from kind of the cheats way, where I'm trying to game the system, and then he's coming at it from this beautiful, elegant, I'm going to make something awesome and epic and powerful. Damn it, he's gone! Oh, sorry, I've been working that up all day, okay. But he does, so it comes out with the same result, but it's just different ways to attack the problem. Cool, so and I'll just really briefly touch on this, it is 7% on average, but in the month that you do it, it's as much as 20%, and it fades over time. So if you imagine you were doing a large social media campaign and you're getting lots of reshares, then that would be an uplift of about 20% to your overall rankings, and then afterwards, in the next month it'll drop down further. So on average it's 7, but in the month that it's happening, so the short answer is social media is absolutely critical. So making it a part of your mix is really cool. Alrighty, any questions? I still will keep trying to slow it down a little bit, I think. Getting way too excited and way too geeky, which is fun. So this is a real world example. This is one of my sites, one of my 6 businesses. I churned out the site really quickly. I wasn't thinking much about it. So the reason I wanted to kind of look back was I just haven't looked at it for my first 6 months after I quit my job. So what this is just in simple terms, it's a personal assistant service. It's like $15 an hour, and you can get a transcription service, or you can have people do research, weddings, research, that sort of stuff. Whatever it is you're after, that's a personal assistant, like a secretary who can go do stuff. They're all offshore, so that's the basic product that we're talking about. I thought it would be far more helpful to have a real world example so we can kind of flow it through. Cool. You missed a powerful moment, mate. So all good. I mentioned the Google Keyword Planner. This is it. I doubt anyone can see that. I mean, I can barely see it myself. No? No. Okay, cool. So just... Yep, cool. So just to clarify, so I'll just kind of talk you through it. You've got secretary is, so I just chucked in secretary, transcription, and personal assistant. Interestingly enough, secretary is 720 searches versus personal assistant, which is what I would have done, 110 for New Zealand in that given month. So I'm pretty sure that was a New Zealand campaign. Yep. Does that make sense? So again, just really, really simply, the power between personal assistant and secretary is 7 times more traffic. Cool. Questions? Cool. This one blew me away as well, was dictaphone is 260, and I hadn't thought, if I write an article about good dictaphones to use for transcription, I rank for dictaphone, and then like, oh, I could use this for transcription. So kind of hijacking other traffic sources. There was one campaign we did which was a cool electrical retailer, and is anyone here from an electrical retailer? Cool, good. So what I did, this was a strategy. I said, look, I don't know about ethics in this situation, it's your call. If you place the word JCAR, Jaycar, on your site, there is, I don't know, 10,000 searches a month within New Zealand for that given term. Now you can say, how do we compare to JCAR, or what are the great elements of our competitor, JCAR, so that you're protecting yourself against legal, but that means you're going to rank and you're going to be number 3 because no one else was using their word, which I thought was, I don't know, a little bit evil, but I was quite proud of. Yeah, cool. All right. And again, you're quite right. I'll keep it simple. This is the tool Market Samurai. It's from noblesamurai.com. It's one of the top 10 tools I use all the time, and I couldn't do my job without it. It's about $80 to $100, and they have a really good dojo, which is their training for Market Samurai, which I think is kind of cool branding stuff. The keyword research is pretty complicated, but you can kind of simplify it down, and there's lots of different tools that cross-reference lots of different data, which is exciting because data is cool. One other thing there as well, concierge was 135,000 searches for concierge in a given month. Again, that kind of blew me away, and I was thinking, I hadn't thought of, do you want your own personal concierge who'll work with you from anywhere around the world? And I'm probably hijacking other people's traffic. Like, they probably may not want that, but for the sake of, I'd started that campaign with the word personal assistant, and personal assistant was only getting internationally it was getting 22,000 versus 135,000. So again, you're just kind of stepping up, getting more and more traffic. So from Kevin's example, so you've got students searching for university versus online university. You know, you could, if you were competing against an online university and you didn't do an online university, you could put the word why a physical university is significantly better than an online university, and cite a whole lot of studies using Mark's method for content creation, etc., etc. Cool. This is another part of the tool where you can just put in your, you can see how you're going to win that particular word and all the things that you've got to beat. And just as an example, for me to win personal assistant, I'd have to have a domain that's 11 years old with a page rank of 5, which is really relatively hard to get to, and I'm going to get 131 million links. So that's not something I can get to number 1. I'm not going to beat Wikipedia. I'm going to try, but yeah, I'm probably not going to get there. So, all good. Any questions? Cool. Yeah, please. Oh, we'll just wait for the mic if that's okay. Sorry. What's that? Yeah, I know. Oh, the reason, just so we understand that the reason for the mic is also for the recording. So, just so we've got it.
Okay, right.
Cool.
I'm just wanted to clarify. It's just for
Yeah.
my own mind. So,
Please.
your keywords have to link to whatever it is that your content on your site, right? So,
Yes.
so you've got to somewhere on your site in your
Yes.
content, you've got to have these words
Yes.
that you're using, right?
That is important and part of the core strategy of placing those words. So just, and again, I'll kind of go a little bit more technical. You want to place the keywords in the top. So this is in order of the places that you put these words. So number 1 is the title. There's a particular type of tag called an H1 tag, which is a heading. So normally at the top of the page, you've got a nice pretty heading. You place the words in that heading and the special header tag, and Google will think that it's more likely to be about that word. Then you place it in the bold, in the text on the page, and yeah.
You're actually labeling the images.
Yep, I use the images as well. I use both the file name and also I add an alternate version of the text of the image, which blind people can see. So when they're, well, they can't see it, sorry. Awkward. Sorry, I'm very sorry. Yeah, that was powerfully awkward. Awesome. So the way that works is that when they are using a browser, one of my friends, she can't see at all, and she's got really blurry vision. So she's moving, and she moving through the screen and tabbing across, and it'll read out image of a man, you know, whatever it is. So cool. There was a question, Chad.
Hello. You said that one of the kind of sneakier but really effective things you did was using a competitor's name in your keywords like JCar.
Yep.
Mine's a bit of a specific question. Where would you position such a word to get the best result? Would it be like, because just for those of you who don't know, you could put it in meta keywords, you could put it in the H1 titles, in the content. Where would be the most effective place to put that?
The order, it's an excellent question, and I'll just clarify as well, that is a strategy for using a word which happened to be in the same industry that I thought would convert well, which had very little competition. It's the same strategy as I would use for, say, concierge as an example. Lots of traffic, but very few people offering a concierge service because people think they're providing a virtual assistant or a personal assistant. So we're looking for a soft target. The only reason I used that example was because it was a soft target for that particular client, and it had a really good return with lots of traffic, and no one was cheeky enough to think to place a competitor's name on their website. Legally, they might want to sue you for using their name, I don't know. The way we did it was we did a services comparison between the two, and we said, you know, this is how, as long as, I'm not a lawyer, so definitely don't listen to me about law. But it was, what we did is we said, these are the features that we provide and these are the features that they provide. And there was like a little tick box and comparisons and customer surveys and stuff, just to kind of make it look To be honest, I didn't care what was on the page. I'm just SEO, so I don't take as much pride and care as Mark does. So, with regards to generating traffic from the site, so it didn't matter how the words were used in order to get traffic to it. From a conversion perspective in online marketing, I care deeply about that. You want to have good content that will convert, which we did. Okay, social impacts on ranking. I'll just see how we're going on time and slides. What's that? Yep, that's cool. So, just a show of hands, who uses Twitter? Cool, awesome. Show of hands, who uses Facebook? Cool, and Facebook for business? Awesome, cool. LinkedIn? Awesome, LinkedIn for business? Cool, like a LinkedIn business page? Awesome. And then Quora? Awesome, nice. Really, really loved Mark's numbers because they are the exact opposite of mine. And the reason I find that really interesting, and in my mind I was trying to think of the demographic differences between his clients and mine. There is a website which exists, which I designed in my 20s, and it may or may not be dedicated to me dressed as a superhero. Don't tell anyone, it's a secret. It's a secret identity. That's generated for me more money than all of my businesses combined over the years, up until I really started hitting my numbers. So it was kind of cool because I built it when I was 20 and I just dressed up as a superhero, did stupid stuff, just running around being an idiot. And then I would get lots and lots of traffic from that and lots of advertising and revenue. At one stage it was beating ASB Bank. So kind of this is SEO back in the 2000s-ish and late 90s-ish, which is kind of random, but StumbleUpon was my number one source of traffic. Like 30% of my traffic was via StumbleUpon. I get good conversions off Facebook, Twitter, because it's kind of, oh, this is something stupid, and then they share it. So it's a totally different mindset for say, my personal assistant business or my SEO business. So it's just a different way of thinking about stuff and your clients, and I love the concept where you are picking your targets and thinking about where they would live. A lot of numbers I've seen from friends who have been showing that LinkedIn's converting like gangbusters. I went through every invoice that I'd ever generated, and incredibly, the vast majority are like people I would deem friends. It doesn't quite count because as soon as I do business with people, I'm like, oh, you're my friend now. So, and then we're friends again, and that's kind of, but a lot of them would mention Facebook, and they said, oh, I saw your other post on Facebook, and it kind of helps. So that's what works for me. Doesn't work for Mark. A difference. I don't know why. Need more data. So, I'm just trying to think about Twitter. Facebook, that's Facebook. I think you guys have seen it. Any questions? Excellent. Cool. Oh.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yep.
If I get all the keywords right,
Yes.
so that would push my...
Subjective, very subjective word there. The keywords right. Do you mean the keywords correctly placed upon the page?
page up on
Yep.
the page and
Cool.
everything. I get them all right. So would that mean my page would move up in the ranking?
Well, you would now be in the running to rank for those words. Before those words featured on your page, you probably couldn't rank for it. There are some clever ways you could, but by and large, if the words don't feature on your page is probably not about those keywords.
Right.
So, yeah.
So what's the advantage then? What happens then? Because what I understand is it has to be ranked high for actually to make a difference, isn't it?
Yeah, well, absolutely. If we take Excel Corp as an example, if you were trying to rank for University Auckland and you don't feature the word university and the word Auckland on a page, that page will not rank for the word University Auckland, right? Make sense? So absolutely, to start the game, you've got to do that. Then you've got to do all the other 200 things. Primarily, the big thing is getting links to your site, and that gives you more status. But you're not going to be able to compete against everyone. You're not even on the starting line without the words. Yeah?
So the words will only just get you to the starting line.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. And then from there, you've got to build your link quality, you've got to make sure the pages, all those sorts of good things. So cool, social for SEO, I've got 252, so I'm trying to keep myself tight. Followers, beware of, just if you're doing social media, I strongly urge do not buy likes or follows. You can, I've seen, was it Justin Flitter? He was doing a campaign for someone, and then it was, he was kind of busted for buying on behalf of a client. He bought, 5,000, 10,000 likes for a particular brand, which just gives a bit of social proof that it looks like the site's doing well. He came out, which I actually gave him full credit for. Justin Flitter's does a bit of social media. I think he's still doing it. And he defended himself and said, well, look, follower count, it's a tool, it provides a bit of social proof, it's a method, and I almost couldn't fault him for that. However, Google can tell the difference between just bots, which you're probably buying if you're buying them off, and also from real people that interact. And what's most important from a SEO perspective is the social interactions like shares and faves. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest. Pinterest is really good with more of a female skew. So there was a women's shoe business, and they just cleaned up on Pinterest because they had really good looking shoes, really cool photos. For me, StumbleUpon was massive. Quora I like from a social perspective, but I haven't had any sales from it per se. And Google Plus, I'm not happy with Google for doing this, but they give more emphasis for Google Plus shares. I'll do social media keywords, so there's a couple of tools there. It's in the slides so you can check them later, but I'll rattle through it. Trends Map does as hashtags start to blow up, or trends like dirty politics or whatever it is, Len Brown, whatever it is that's ranking at that given moment, then you'll see it blow up on the Trends Map. Google, you can set up alerts for anyone who is in business and does not have alerts set up. I strongly urge you to do it. Even if you only place your own name in the alert. If someone is talking about me in the media, I would like to get that in my email, please. Because that's kind of interesting to me. And you can also list all your competitors. You can list your industry. You can base it just on New Zealand content. Following news.google, and then the Zeitgeist link, which we spoke about earlier, that's good to kind of review. And also, we were talking before about video content. So YouTube everyone talks about Bing being the second website, second biggest search engine. It's not at all. YouTube is the number 2 search engine in all of the world by a country mile. So, and they have a totally different index. They have totally different keywords. So yeah, all good. Yay. Hang on. Cool. So that's pretty much it. Should I keep going? I've run out of time. Thought it would happen. I was just going to summarize really quickly. Cool. 1 minute. Okay. We will do questions as well. So, what's in it for you? Think about your business. Think about all the stuff that I've spoken about, and how that's going to impact and deliver value to you. Think about these things, these tools. Spend a little bit of time becoming a little bit more aware of it, and I think that will really help. Words matter. Placing the secret is the difference between 3 clients a week and 40, and he didn't know that he'd done that. And you would never know unless you use the Google Keyword Planner. Your competition matters, so trying to target you're looking for the soft doors, because I love this industry because I do it because I like to minimize my effort output. So I look for the easy tasks first, and then we work our way up the chain. And these sales are always happening whether you are there or not. So someone is winning that traffic battle, and someone is making a lot of money from it. So yeah, which I think is kind of cool. And then social media matters as well. And then there's a link there to moz.com, which is the beginner guide to SEO.
Thank you very much, Jay. Thank you. I think it's always interesting to hear Jay talk about social media. Obviously, he's very passionate about the search engine optimization. Has been quite a long time in this industry. So the takeaways for Jay's session: number one, how to organize your home office. First takeaway. SEO is not always the answer, as Jay said. SEO without good content is irrelevant. So the first thing is get your content right, get your SEO right. Get the keywords right if you want to get into the game. So I think these are the key learning outcomes we get out of Jay's session.